Good evening, everyone. I want to do a quick video about, now again, far be it from me, Lord have mercy, for me to attempt to teach anybody, really. But I have been a Christian most of my life, and I've been I've been an Orthodox believer for 3 years now, going on 3 years, and was baptized in the Orthodox Church recently. And I say that as a sinner. The name of my channel, the Chief of Sinners, I know myself. So, I perhaps am a reluctant speaker, as it were, when it comes to things of Christendom. I'm not a priest, and but nevertheless, I, sinner though I am, I love the church. So that being said, why is there no teaching of saints or Mary in Protestantism? I've been in the Protestant church most of my life and have spent a big chunk of my life in service of the church. And there was no talk of Mary, no talk of the saints at all. And which is interesting because the saints, the early church fathers, what they call apostolic succession, right? So the 12 disciples, the apostles, and then succession down from there. Those are the priests down into what has become orthodoxy later. So with Protestantism, there is no tethering back to church tradition. And in fact, anything that seems traditional is what they would call Pharisaical. And so we don't want to be like the Pharisees in Scripture that Jesus talks about in the Gospels, right? And so because the church pendulum, the Protestant church pendulum, has swung so far one way to not be Pharisaical, like the Pharisees in the Gospels, that Protestantism has completely washed out all church tradition. And so this is very interesting. Most of the Christians in the world are Eastern Christians, not Western Christians. Most of the Christians in the world are Eastern Christians. Those are Orthodox, right? And so here in the West, we don't have not nearly a history with Orthodoxy as the East does, right? And so with that, we have thrown out all church traditions at all. And part of those church traditions are leaning on the teachings of the saints and the early church fathers. Also, revering Mary, okay? So when a Orthodox person, and from a Protestant point of view, I get it, because we don't have any teachings on Mary. We don't have any teaching on the early church fathers, really, or the saints for that matter. It's just sola scriptura, right? Like only the scriptures is all Protestants rely on. Now, most of church tradition, in fact, all of church tradition, there has been a reverence of Mary and the saints. Okay, so when somebody prays to a saint, they're not worshiping a saint, nor are they worshiping Mary. I don't know about Catholicism, but I can tell you in Orthodoxy that the Orthodox Church does believe in praying to saints and does believe in praying to Mary. But here's why. And it sounds like some voodoo cryptic stuff. I can assure you it's not. We are, Scripture says, surrounded by the great cloud of witnesses. We have the great cloud of witnesses. And if the saints that have gone before us are standing in the throne room of heaven with Christ himself, and Scripture talks about this, the saints and the martyrs that are innumerable, excuse me, if they are there, present with the Lord, and they can hear us, if I'm praying for something, does it also not hurt, as it were, to pray to a particular saint that embodied a particular, you might be a certain saint, St. George maybe, that had a real courage under fire, or different saints that represented different things that you want to uphold in your own life, asking that saint to go to the Lord on your behalf and pray on your behalf to endow you or entrench you with a certain characteristic, let's say. And then with Mary, the Theotokos, she's called the Theotokos, the God bearer, the one who bears God, right? Same thing. And I don't think I'm getting that wrong. Again, I'm not a priest. Praying to Mary to pray to the Lord on your behalf. It doesn't hurt to have more people living and dead, though the saints and Mary are more alive than we are, for them to pray on our behalf. Does that make sense? That's a very down and dirty way to say that, but that's a start anyway. I'll do another longer video on that some other time. But I hope everybody's doing well. God bless your 4th of July. I hope it's wonderful.